episode, we are going to go over Goulet Pen's Ink Drop Club monthly subscription for the month of June. They chose the theme Down to Earth with a lovely little selection of browns and greens. We have inks from featuring companies such as Diamine, Noodlers, Pelican, Edelstein series, Platinum Mix Free, and Private Reserve. And this time I'm going to be using a nice little dip pen that I kind of made up. I just bought a stock and I just shoved a stub nib from Jinhao on there, so I'll be using that today. Yay! That should make things quicker. So let's get started. Let's do the greens first. Let's start with Noodlers Sequoia Green. It's very dark and very olive. Ooh. And it doesn't like to collect on walls, and that's always a good thing for me, because if I use droppers, then I'm not wasting a lot of ink. So let's try this one out. And then we're gonna cap that bitch back up. I ain't gonna want that spilling everywhere. Hey. Let's do a little bit of writing. Oh, it's a nice, very dark forest green. Probably because I'm using a dip pen, but it kind of comes out dark from the start, but after a few little swipes, it actually behaves quite nicely. Whee! Alright. Let's see what it does on some regular paper, because that is pretty much what I am going to be using all of my inks for, because I am too broke to buy nice, expensive paper that I just really I can't see the purpose of me spending $10 a pop on like 50 sheets of paper for something that I'm just gonna scribble notes on. I just can't. I understand, and I apologize if I've just insulted people who are in that cult following of super expensive fancy notebooks, but I can't do it. So let's see how it behaves on this. Let me get a little bit more. And see how it behaves on regular paper. Very nicely. There is no feathering here at all. Well, there's a little bit at the end. Towards the end, there's a little tiny bit, but it dries pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one. Not particular to the color, but let's see what it looks like from the back, because that'll be a good tell. It's a little dark of a bleed through, so you might have a difficult time reading it on lined paper if you use both sides, but it's ultimately not something that's too distracting. Yeah, it's something I can get over. Not bad. Let me wash out that bit. Let's see what it does when it's got water applied to it. Whoop. Wee. I totally just have ink on my finger. Well, it's not the most perfect, but it's pretty resilient compared to a lot of things I've seen. You can still make out what you've got. But if it's going to be like in the rain, it probably would not be good. I mean, it's got a nice little brownish background. I don't know if you guys can see that or distinguish that. But it's got like a brown undertone in the back once you get rid of the primary color of it. But obviously it's not going to survive if it gets soaked. But you can still probably salvage some sort of writing from it. Put that back there. Okay. Yep, that was Noodlers Sequoia Green. On to the next green, we have Diamine Salamander, which is also another dark olive, which looks almost exactly the same as the Noodlers. So that one doesn't really stick to the walls that much. I got a little pretty clean removal of material when you switch it from side to side, so it might be good for a drop. So let's try this one out. Nib dry. Dip. That was a lot. Let's go down here and go right next to it. This one has more of a brown undertone. Like this one would be like a dark forest green. This is more of like an olive with a little bit of brown mixed in between. I don't know if you guys can see that color very well. Let's focus that a little bit. Yeah. Looks almost black, but it's definitely like a kind of watery olive. And it's got a bit of shading when you start writing with it, which I know that's what people tend to like, depending on how hard, but I am not one of those people. I'm one of those people that likes to scribble all over everything, but it's also pretty reasonably fast when it comes to dry time, so you're probably not going to be smudging your stuff. And let's see, let's keep this food related. There is not a lot of feathering on this one at all. Obviously in the darker patches over there it's got a little bit of streak, but it's something that I could definitely repeatedly use. And the bleed through, it is also lighter than the Noodlers. You can barely see that. Yeah, that one's kind of nice actually. And that is me being out. Okay. Yeah. It's not a color that I would probably buy again, but it's a good thing for me to keep in mind when it comes to the chemical composition of companies. Because again, my preference is, I don't like a lot of shading in my inks, but I like, again, I like colors that I can use on notebook paper and regular paper that the old asshole can buy. And let's see what it does in terms of water. What will you do? Ooh, that's not... Wow. Yeah. I'd rate that pretty similar to the Noodlers. You can kind of salvage and distinguish what you're gonna have left over, but it's not as waterproof as I like. The Cherry Blossom, or no, Apple Blossom from the last month's ink drop, I really liked the durability of that one. Because, I'm a messy person. I spill shit all over my notebooks all the time. Other people tend to spill notebooks all over my shit all the time, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. Which is kind of the thing I'm not particularly liking when I entered this hobby, but sacrifices must be made. Alright, that is it for the Diamine Salamander. It's kind of an interesting name for that color, but, you know. The last green I have is Pelican, Edelstein's Aventurine. A very bright emerald green. This one kind of sticks a lot to the sides of the tube as I am shifting it around. Let's try this one out. And let's pop the bubble and splash it all over my hands because that's a good idea. Look at that. Redonk. Alright, let's see what you got, Pelican. Ooh. I really like that emerald color. It does have a decent amount of shading. Let's see if we can take a better look at that. It's still pretty wet. I can still see some shininess on it. It's still drying on the paper. But I like the color. It's a nice pretty emerald. I'm not much of a green person, but that one is pretty cool. I especially like it when the color starts running out a little bit and it turns lighter. But definitely a lot of shading in this one. Let's see what it does on regular paper. This one, actually I'm very surprised. That one doesn't have too much in the way of feathering. I probably would use it in a regular fountain pen to see that for sure. But no, this one is very behaving some, because words. I write them, I don't speak them. And there's not a lot of bleed through. I mean, it is pretty dark. And probably in a wall of text. If you're gonna fill a whole paper, you might see that, but yeah, I ran out. That's okay. Now let's see what it does with water. Oh no, wait, man. Oh yeah, that shit's going everywhere. Well, it makes an interesting water color. Oh yeah, especially if you get a lot of ink on there, that is going away quickly. You're left with this lime green residue of fail. So not one I would pick for waterproofness, but it's still a pretty color. That was the Pelican, Edelstein, Aventurine. Moving on to the browns, we have two. We will start with the, let's see, the Platinum Mix-Free Earth Brown. Let's see if I can move over to another corner. Platinum Mix-Free. Let's dry off my nib a little bit. I don't need to get water in this. Do it again. Yes, a little more than that. There we go. Ooh. I am really enjoying this color. Ooh, it's a very nice. I'm not a big fan of browns, but this one is really like a. I really don't know how to describe that. It's like a raw umber. More of a red brown terracotta kind of thing going on. It's got a little bit of shading going on, but I really enjoyed that color. For some reason, it struck me nicely. Yeah, that's a pretty color. The camera can't really tell how red this thing is, but let's see if we can get some light in there. Maybe, maybe not. Alright, well, let us try out this one on regular paper. Regular paper. Ready. Brown. And not a lot of feathering on that one. that's pretty sturdy on that one. And let's check how it bleeds. That one is a little darker. You can still kind of see that pretty well, and there's a patch right here that I've splurged on, I guess, more than others, so that one I might be careful with if I was writing on regular paper. Ooh, I don't like that one. Let us test it out on some water. This is starting to make a really gross color in my ink. In my water pen thing. It's kind of this snotty. That's all this snotty green. Oh, you totally can't see that. Well, never mind. Forget I said anything. Fine, whatever. Let's put some water on this. Hiya. Ooh. Ooh, that is even better. Let's put a little blip. I am impressed with that. Of course, if I'm going to saturate the damn thing, it's going to disappear, but an accidental spill that you catch, and that might... Whew. Well, if you don't let it completely soak in, it might be alright, but it's leaving a little red imprint on the background. And you totally can't see that. There we go. But, you can make it out, but it's probably not a good idea to soak this one in the water either. And our final one is Private Reserve Ebony Brown. Woo! This is dark and thick, and it is not coming off of the sides of the sample tube. So I probably would not use this in a dropper because you're probably going to have a lot of wastage. That is thick and dark. Wow. Alright, let's try that stuff out. And it's all over my hands by now because I'm using a dip pen. Whatever. Alright, look at my mark of shame. That's what you get for using a dip pen. Alright. Let's try this corner. You see that? Yeah. Okay. That is dark. Ooh, that is very dark. There is a brown in it. There is some shading, because if you kind of... Wow. That is really, really, really dark. It's pretty. As it dries, it starts to lighten a little bit. Let's straighten that out. It's not very wet. Well, yeah. It's not very wet because I'm poking at it. And it's only doing, like, this bit's right here. Yep, right there. So you gotta let it dry a little bit, but it's... Wee. Let us see what it does with regular paper. I have a feeling this one is going to bleed through a lot, because it's so dark. But, you can tell I'm hungry. Sausage pie! Let's do some random shit, and let's, like, really saturate the damn thing. Let's see what happens. And it turns into a very dark chocolate brown, eventually. Let us see what it looks like in the bag. Actually, not that bad. I mean, obviously the parts that I just kind of annihilated show through, but... Yeah, this one is actually pretty readable, and it stays on its side of the paper, which is nice. Let's see what water does to it after it's... Yeah, it's dry. Alright. Let's go for it. Ooh, Oh no, 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 no. Yeah. Just kind of smear it around a bit. Well. Yep. Whee. Now I got a nice watercolor set in my paper and I like it. And I'm amused by it. But there you have it. The ink drop for June. Wow. I would probably buy this one again if I were to buy and have money. The diamond, I think. Was it diamond? No, it was platinum. The platinum mixed free. Because I just really like that color. It's so pretty. But I just like this ink drop club because it gives me a chance to try some things that I wouldn't normally try before. And it's nice for people who are just coming into the fountain pen niche. Cult. Yeah, I think cult's more appropriate. To be like, alright, what's out there? I still probably wouldn't find something that is as English words. That does not make sense at all. But anyway, I haven't found my perfect go-to ink yet. I have a couple more things to try. I have some reds and some purples that I'm going to be looking forward to, and then obviously the next ink drop coming up in July should be coming in soon. I am excited. They haven't released any sort of hints for that yet, but yep. This month. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this adventure again. I hope it isn't somewhat entertaining. If you guys have any suggestions as to what I can do to improve this series, or what you guys want to see, feel free to leave me a comment, and until next time, go with awesome. Thanks, guys.